With this laptop computer, I have a RFID microchip scanner.
Now, this is end-time breaking news, the CBDC Digital Dollar. Now, devices are being put into place to collect physical money. This is what they call a reverse ATM machine. Instead of putting your money card into a machine and getting cash out, a reverse ATM machine, you put cash in and you get a debit card or a credit card out of this machine. Now, this is a reverse ATM machine there on the right. This is our our youngest daughter's hand. She went to Florida State University using this machine in 2009. In 2009, the students in the FSU were conditioned to accept a reverse ATM machine, although it wasn't called that, but that's what they were doing. It was taking cash money into the machine, and it put out a debit card or credit card that could be used throughout the Florida State University campus. And I understand many other colleges are has done that. So the 2009 students are now the adults that's in their probably young 30s of age, and they're going through, and so accepting this type of technology is just something they've already been conditioned to do. The Federal Reserve, the federal government, Federal Reserve Bank, and tech companies have been preparing this for years. Now, for over 10 years, or for over 20 years, I've been demonstrating this device. This device is called a personal ATM machine. This was used prior to smartphones coming out in the market. So with this device, what you do is it has a little keypad on the front. It looks like a calculator, but actually it's an ATM machine. It has a smart card on there. Notice the little gold chip on the end here. That little gold chip, just like we have on our credit card and debit card. And with this device, you insert it into the back here, right here, slide it in. You put in your account number and information, and it now will be able to do transaction. And the way it communicates with the system 20 years ago was it has a little slot here, as you can see. This little slot here, you would plug it into a telephone line to actually do the transaction for you. So that was 20 years ago, but now we have smartphones that are doing those transactions for us. So interesting technology. It's called a personal ATM machine 20 years ago. Now, as countries around the world are implementing the CBDC, currently there are 11 countries that has implemented the CBDC. Global elites at the World Economic Forum do not want you to save money. The WEF wants you to spend your money, or it will expire right into their hands. They talked about this 20 years ago, but printing expiration date on cash money would be expensive, because once they printed a date on there, once it did expire, it would have to be disposed of and then have to reprint new money. So this became a very expensive idea, and so that idea was scrapped. Now with the CBDC digital money system, it's just a keystroke on a computer system, and they can expire your money instantly. Now on July 12th of 2023, this news article talked about as central bankers are planning the CBDC currency implant under your skin. What we're talking about here is a microchip implant. According to Professor Richard Werner, a prominent German economist, says central banks plan to implant the central bank digital currency, the CBDC, in the form of a microchip implant under their skin. And what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about putting a microchip. This is my microchip I use for demonstration purpose so people get a better understanding what it looks like. It has my little antenna coil here, and it has the microchip in here and this is what they're putting in people's hands. But not actually this one. This just is my model. Let me actually show you a. There we go. This is an actual microchip. It's the actual working microchip that I demonstrate in 2002. I actually demonstrate for 20-some years, over 20 years. This is a working microchip with an RFID scanner, or NFC. RFID is radio frequency identification. NFC is near field communication. This is a working microchip. And what they're doing is placing this microchip. Let me get it in my other hand here. And as you see in the picture, they're placing it in this little tender spot here, as in the picture shows you. This little tender spot is where they're placing them in their hands. And the Bible talks about it could be either in the right hand or in the forehead. Now this is an actual microchip. Ouch, it actually poked me. This is a microchip that actually could be implanted in the hand without a syringe. It's got a very, very sharp point on the end, which you can't see here very well. It has a very sharp point on the end that it could be injected under the skin without any kind of a syringe or anything. That's the technology that's out there. This is over 20 years ago, and I've been demonstrating that for 20 years. So that is happening, and it is possible. So don't take the mark or the name or the number in or on the right hand or on the forehead. Don't be deceived. This is a slide that I use a lot for people because I want this to get into their spirit, to get them to understand. Do not take the mark. And I know there's going to be people that are going to accept it. Why? Because of cash money. Because they are not depending on the Holy Spirit. They're depending on their flesh, wanting to depend on money system. But again, I'm going to show this slide so that they get this envision into their mind, into their imprint, into their spirit. Do not take the mark or the name or the number in or on the right hand or the forehead. Do not be deceived. Anything that goes into your hand or on your hand for the purpose of buying and selling. And Jesus tells us in Matthew 24, the first thing that's going to come for end time is deception. And we are seeing a lot of deception today with the news media and with the government, what their governments are doing, and what the schools are doing to our children. Deception, deception, deception. First end time message from Jesus is there will be deception. Period. New paragraph. Now let's change into another subject here. Now in the near future, the money in your pocket, in your cookie jar, under your bed, or in your home safe will become worthless once they start implementing the digital dollar system. Or it may become illegal to use. Now here's an example of that. In 2011, the state of Louisiana attempted to ban cash transaction. Attempted to ban it. They considered second-hand dealers shall not enter into cash transaction in payment for the purchase of junk or used or second-hand property. The payment shall be made in the form of checks, electronic transfer, or money order issued to the seller of the junk. Now, what are they talking about? A second-hand dealer is anyone buying and selling anything more than once a month is considered a second-hand dealer. That means if you're going on Facebook Marketplace or having a yard sale or going to a yard sale or Craigslist or going to a garage sale, whatever the case may be, if you're buying and selling more than once a month, you are considered a second-hand dealer. But after a large protest from the people of Louisiana, the act was retracted. But this shows you the mindset of the government leaders. But the digital dollar money system will easily make this happen. So you will need to exchange paper money for your digital dollar. It may function similar to a bank debit card, but it's no longer in your bank. It's in the Federal Reserve banking system. But you no longer own it. You will have very little control over it. You can't touch it. You can't see it. and you can't put it in the safe to protect it. And if the World Economic Forum gets their way, your digital dollar money system will expire if you don't use it. Can you imagine that? Them telling you you got to use your money? You are being forced to use your money, or they're going to take it away from you.